Hello guys, how are you? So today we're going to do the question number 4 on the same set of the past year. Question number 4 is your accounting ratios topic. Now, if you look at the question, it's quite straightforward here. It's not so tricky. So basically, if you get this kind of question in the exam, you should what? Sapu habis lah. Yeah. It's like a bonus marks for you. So let's get started. Read the required first, as usual. Now, what the required is asking for? Part A, calculate the gross profit percentage on turnover. So, gross profit percentage means is your gross profit margin, which is gross profit divided with what? Net sales times 100. So let's look at the information given over there. We have overhead, we have turnover, in a bracket they put it over there, net sales. So they already calculate for us the net sales. So therefore we no need to do the breakdown for the what? Net sales. Yeah. No working for net sales. They gave you capital, they gave you gross profit, they gave you stock at start of year, okay, or we call as what? Inventory, yeah. Stock at the end of the year. So they give you the beginning and the opening and the closing, yeah. Okay, they give you the both stocks over there. Now, so quite straightforward. Let's start with our working. Gross profit is 71,820 divide with our turnover going to be what? 299,250 times 100, which our net sales. So you will get 24%. Done. So if you put the formula, the working, everything, you will get what? 2 marks. We are done with the part A. Next, B. Return on capital employed. ROCE, which is net profit divided with what? Net worth times 100. Now over here we got a problem. If you look at the information, they never gave you the what? Net profit, but however they gave you gross profit. So from that we can find the what? We can find the net profit. So how do you find net profit? So please do the breakdown for what? Net profit, which is what? Gross profit minus your expenses. So over here 71820 is our gross profit. Our expenses going to be what? Overheads. This is your expenses. Four, 2, 3, 5, 7. This is our expenses, which is our overhead. So you will get 29,463. So that's our net profit. Now, how about net worth? How about these? How about these? Net worth. Now, if you still remember the net worth formula, you must take non-current asset plus current asset minus current liabilities minus non-current liabilities. That's how you get net worth. But however, we don't have the what? The information of non-current asset, current liabilities and non-current liabilities. So alternatively, what they gave you? They gave you capital. So we're going to use the capital as our net worth in our ROCE. If you still remember, when we do the accounting ratio topic in our exercise in the workbook, one of the exercise in the workbook, first one of the first they asked to calculate the ROCE using net worth. On the second required, they ask you to use the capital as your net worth. So that's why in this question they give you capital. That means we can use the capital is as our net worth. So over here, 29463 divide 420900 times 100. So that's going to be our ROCE, which is 7%. So that's our answer for the ROCE. So we are done on the what? Part B. Next, C. The average stock held. Average stock. So they ask you to find average stock, yeah. Or we call as what? Average inventory. So how do you find average inventory? Opening inventory plus what? Closing inventory divide 2. That's how you find the average inventory. So over here, they give you the opening and closing. How much your opening? Opening is what? This is your opening and this is your closing. Okay? Start means opening, end means closing. So 17,000 and 14,500. So it comes over here. Let's start our working. 17,000 plus 14,500 divide 2. Which will give you 15,750. So that's our average inventory. So we are done on the what? On the part C. Then next, annual rate. Annual rate of stock turn. If they use the word of rate, you must be careful. That means you must count how many times. Your answer must be times. So therefore, if you still remember, in our inventory turnover, we got two formulas. So they're asking for a rate. That means they're asking for this formula, which is our first formula in our inventory turnover. They're asking for what? So the first formula, which is cost of sales, divide with what? Average inventory. Now this is the formula, but we got a problem. Now we already have our average inventory. Okay, very good. Now, but we have to do working for what? Do we have a cost of sales? No. That means we have to do cost of sales working. We have to find the cost of sales. So how do we find cost of sales? Now how do we find cost of sales? How do we find cost of sales? What is the original formula of cost of sales? Now, how do we find cost of sales? opening inventory plus purchases minus purchases written minus your what? Closing inventory will give you the cost of sales. But we got a problem. We only have opening inventory and closing inventory. We don't have the purchase and purchase return. They never give you that information. But however, we can't use this formula. But there is another way you can use to find the what? The cost of sales. How? They give you what? Gross profit. Yes. How do you find gross profit? How do you find gross profit? Net sales minus your what? Cost of sales, you will get gross profit. Therefore, you have this both information, am I right? Therefore, cost of sales is equivalent to what? Net sales minus your gross profit. You reverse back the calculation. Then you will get your cost of sales answer. So let's work out now. Your net sales is how much? How much is net sales? 299. 250 minus your gross profit, which is what? 71820. Which will give you the cost of sales 227430. Another way to find the cost of sales. Yeah. Now, so we already got the cost of sales. So now we can work out the what? The inventory turnover. So over here 227430 divide with 15750. How much you will get? You will get 14.44 times inventory turnover. Okay, next is your part E. Now, so therefore part D done, yeah. Next, part E. The average number of weeks that item remain in stocks. Again the same question, but again the same inventory turnover, but they're asking in what? In weeks. Yeah. So this is going to be our second formula in our inventory turnover. Inventory turnover. Okay, this is going to be our second formula, which is average inventory divide with what? Cost of sales times with 52 weeks, because they're asking in weeks. So 52 weeks. So the same working is just going to be what? Our average inventory 1557. Sorry. 750. 15750, and your cost of sales is over here 227,430 times with 52 weeks. .6 weeks. So that's our answer. So that's all guys. So we are done on the part E.